Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. On my previous video, I talked about our cervical plexus and brachial plexus. So if you have not seen that video, then click on the I button and watch that video now. Today I'm going to talk about our lumbar plexus and sacral plexus. So let's start from lumbar plexus. Now as you guys already know that this lumbar plexus extends in our body from L1, first lumbar spinal nerve to the fourth lumbar spinal nerve, from L1 to L4. Okay, now as you can see, this L1 nerve is going anteriorly and it divides itself into two parts. First part is known as iliohypogastric nerve and the another part is known as ilioinguinal nerve. Okay, now as you can see, this one division is arising from the L1, it is going downward, and another division is arising from L2, this division is going upward. So the division coming from L1 and the division arising from L2 both combines together and forms one single nerve, which is known as genitofemoral nerve. Okay, now as you can see that another division is arising from the L2 and this division is going downward. So this division merges with L3 spinal nerve, but from L3 spinal nerve another division is arising and it merges with the remaining part of the L2. Okay, so the division is coming from the L3 and merging with L2. This cord is going to supply the lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh. Okay, another division is coming from L2 which is joining with L3, and another nerve L4, fourth lumbar spinal nerve, is also joining with this, forms one nerve which is femoral nerve. Okay, and as you can see that from the trunk part of L2, trunk part of L3, trunk part of L4, these three branch combines or merges together and goes downward, which is known as obturator nerve. Okay, so this is the entire photo of lumbar plexus. Now I'm going to talk about our toughest spinal nerve plexus, which is sacral plexus. It is very tough, so try to concentrate. Sacral plexus extends in our body from L4 spinal nerve to the S4 spinal nerve, from fourth lumbar spinal nerve to the fourth sacral spinal nerve. Okay, now as you can see in this photo that from the trunk part of L4, two nerve fibers is arising from the upside, and these two nerve fiber, one of them is joining with the femoral nerve, another part is joining with the obturator nerve, and in the posterior side another little branch is arising which joins with the iliacus muscle. Okay, look carefully at the root part of these all nerves. Okay, this L5, then S1, S2, S3, S4, from the root part of these nerves a single branch are arising. This branch supplies our adjacent viscera. Now again come back to the L4 and watch the trunk part of all of these spinal nerves. This trunk part divides itself into two parts. One part goes anteriorly, another part goes posteriorly, and it is happening in only L4, L5, S1, S2. These four consecutive nerves, what happens, their trunk divides itself into two parts. One part goes anteriorly, another part goes posteriorly. Now try to concentrate here that four trunk parts from L4, L5, S1, S2 are present in posterior side, and similarly the trunk parts of L4, L5, S1, S2 also present in anteriorly. ठीक है, तो मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि ये जो आप नजदीक से देख रहे हो, क्या देख रहे हो कि ये जो ट्रंक पार्ट है आपका L4, L5, S1, S2, ये चारों लगातार जो चार नर्व है, क्या होता है, ये इसका ट्रंक सामने जाके दो हिस्से में अलग हो जाता है. एक हिस्सा सामने में चला जाता है, एक हिस्सा पीछे में रह जाता है. तो सामने वाले को हम एंटीरियर ट्रंक पार्ट कहते हैं और पीछे वाले को हम पोस्टीरियर ट्रंक पार्ट कहते हैं. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट मी टॉक अबाउट द पोस्टीरियर ट्रंक पार्ट्स ऑफ द L4, L5, S1, S2. You can see that one branch is arising from the posterior trunk of L4. Again, one branch is arising from the posterior trunk of L5. Similarly, a branch is arising from the posterior trunk of S1. Now, this three branch combines together and continues as superior gluteal nerve. Okay. Again, a branch is arising from the trunk part of L5. A branch is arising from the trunk part of S1, and similarly one branch is arising from the trunk part of S2, and these three branch merges together and forms inferior gluteal nerve. Okay. Similarly, one branch is arising from the posterior trunk part of S1 and another branch is arising from the posterior trunk part of S2. This two branch combines together and continues as a nerve to piriformis muscle. Okay. Now hold this posterior trunk part for a few moments and come back to the anterior trunk part. A branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of L4. Similarly, a branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of L5. Similarly, a branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of S1. This three branch merges together and supplies our quadratus femoris and gemellus inferior muscle. Okay. And similarly, a branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of L5, a branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of S1, a branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of S2. This three branch again merges together and supplies our obturator internus and gemellus superior muscle. Okay, now up to this much things are little easy. The next parts are little tough, so try to more concentrate. Okay, one branch is arising from the posterior trunk part of S1 and similarly one branch is arising from the posterior trunk part of S2 and one division is arising from S2. Now one division of S2 and these two branch merges together and continues as a posterior cutaneous nerve of thigh. One branch is arising from the anterior trunk part of S2 and one branch is coming from S3 and the entire S4. These three nerve merges together and continues as a pudendal nerve. Okay. Now what else? One branch is coming from S4 and another branch is coming from S5, fifth spinal nerve. These two branch combines together and continues as nerve to our levator ani muscle, coccygeus muscle. What happens? This posterior trunk of L4, L5, S1, S2, these four posterior trunk combines together and continues. Similarly, there is anterior trunk part of L4, L5, S1, S2 combines together. This combination of anterior trunk, S3 nerve is also joining. The third nerve, the third spinal nerve is also joining with this anterior trunk. Okay. Now this entire posterior trunk and the entire anterior trunk combines together and forms one single nerve, which is sciatic nerve. Now what happens? In this posterior trunk part, one fibrous arises, which is known as common peroneal nerve. Similarly, one branch is arises from the whole anterior trunk part. Now this branch is known as tibial nerve. Okay, so this is the overall photo of sacral plexus. So I hope you understand the entire complex part, lumbar plexus, sacral plexus, in very easy way. What happens? From this plexus, very important nerves are arising. Okay, few nerves are going our hand, few nerves are going our in torso, few nerves are going on our legs, thigh. Now I am going to talk about all of these very important nerves. Which nerves are very important for your theory, for your viva, for your entrance exam. So I will talk about these very important nerves in very details as much as I can. Till then, bye.